Hey guys, it's Brian again, the Chinese watch guy. I live in China. I love affordable watches, especially Chinese watches. Last time I did an unboxing of the new San Martin SN0148. And it's an exciting release because last year San Martin had their kind of breakout hit with the SN0144. And that's a watch that I think started to catch the attention of the mainstream watch community. But here with the SN0144, I think San Martin intends this to be their new flagship watch, along with the updated SN0144. And that watch has a very cool dial, which is somewhat similar to this one. So again, they're going with their Jianjian Chinese porcelain theme, but this time I think the dial pattern is even more prominent, more interesting than that on the SN0144, and we'll see that in some close-up shots. So again, they've gone with that Jianjian Chinese porcelain theme, that beautiful sunburst enamel effect, but this time I think it's even more prominent than it was with the SN0144. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but looking into the center of it is like looking into the ocean. Very appropriate for a dive watch. We can see there's a significant rehaut on the side. Now the first potential drawback might be the indices. They're a bold classic Submariner type layout with large circles and rectangles, but are they too bold for such a beautiful watch of this type? I think they honestly could have gone with something more elegant. But it is a very substantial feeling watch. Let's try that bezel out first. Guys, it feels very nice. It feels like a premium bezel. I would say that there is a tiny bit of backplay, but it does feel very nice and clicky. For the hands, we see a broad arrow and a sword hand. Very nicely done. And a nice color matched and framed date wheel. Let's talk about the case. We can see very good, consistent horizontal brushing with very smooth polished chamfers. I'll get into the specs and measurements shortly. We can see that signed crown. Inside we have that Miyota 9015, a reliable high beat movement. Let's talk about that bracelet. The bracelet is incredibly smooth, sort of a variation on a 5-link J-style bracelet, and it features incredible light play, which you'll see in my wrist shot shortly. Really detailed finishing with a mixture of brushing and those polished chamfers again. So I believe this is a new bracelet, but it calls to mind the bracelets used on their Jianghun sister brand. And those bracelets are beautifully finished, and they have a somehow more masculine feel than their other bracelets somehow. I would say more masculine and somehow more organic. The clasp is their new on-the-fly adjustable clasp. Works quite well, perhaps a bit more refined than their old one. All right, let's do some measurements. Oh, I forgot to do a quick wrist check. I'm wearing my Thorn Black Bay 58 homage. Very good watch, but a very different one than this San Martin. So the watch weighed in at about 150 grams with all links. Let's see what it weighs, sized for my 6.5-inch wrist. 4 links removed. About 139 grams. Case diameter is just under 41 millimeters, a bit more than their stated 40 millimeters. Lug to lug, 49.1, a bit less than their stated 49.5 millimeters. Could be an intimidating measurement for some, which we'll talk about. Thickness, about 11.7 millimeters, a bit more than their stated 11.4 millimeters, but still very thin, no doubt thanks to that Miyota movement. Lug width is 20 millimeters. Tapering down to about 16 millimeters. clasp is about 19 millimeters wide. The clasp is about 41.4 millimeters. And it seems just a hair shorter than the old San Martin clasp. Let's put this on the wrist. So it feels very substantial, as I've said. It feels really nice, really comfortable. You can see there's great light play on the bracelet, and that dial looks amazing and looks different in different lighting. All right, let me show you some wrist shots outside. So here it is outdoors on my wrist. I think it feels great. I think it looks great out in the sun, catches the light, plays with the light really well. And in our Lume test, we see here the BGW X1 Lume holds up very well against the Seiko SRP-K. Okay, let's talk about negatives of the watch and then give you my final verdict. Negatives, it is a very big, bold look, although it should fit most wrists thanks to those female end links, that very flexible bracelet. But it is, again, this is not a 38 millimeter skin diver. But if you do have one or two of those, why not go for something different? I think it is a higher price point. I believe $388 US and $330 odd during the sale. So is it worth it? Well, is there anything else like this out there? I think you'd be hard pressed to find this watch, this design at any price. I think if you want a very unique diver, you probably have to go to a micro brand like Zelos at more than double the price. I feel like if you want a premium watch, this is a good value. It's a good buy. All right, so I'll leave a link in the description. The summer sale is still on. If you like this video, if you want more news and releases from the Chinese watch world, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.